Good evening, folks. Welcome back to the channel. It's great to see you, as it always is. I hope you're all doing well. Got some more matches for us to go through today. As always, I'll be sure to go through as many as I can for tonight. There will be one or two that I can't go through due to me having to go to work. It's getting quite late over here. But I'll be sure to touch on everything that I've got in front of me right now. So before we get into it, like the video, if you'd be so kind, get yourself subscribed to the channel if you're not already. Very close to that 2.2k. Get yourself involved. I would appreciate it if you did. Very well then. Very well. Get your comments in with your predictions. Anything that I'm going for will also be in that pinned comment where they always are. Feel free to go and check that out if you want to. And now that's out the way, how did we get on yesterday? Not the greatest day once again for me, although it is far from over. I'm still holding out for the Miyajima to pull through for that plus money double. That it's not going to drag me out of the shit entirely, but it will most definitely redeem me, at least for today anyway. And also, press F to pay respects for the Argentinians today, man. Commissania and Sarundalo, both gone. I was very, very disappointed to say the least. Taylor Fritz, I'm going to be clinging to that Taylor Fritz outright for dear life all week. Fingers crossed. We're in a good spot with that one. We're in a good spot. But we'll see how we get on. There's still a lot of tennis to be played. But let me know. Did you win? Did you lose? Did you just come close? And now that's out the way, we'll get into these. So let's get it on. Alright then, folks. First off for us today over in Austria, we've got Rinderknech and Hanfmann. I think this will be a very interesting match, to say the least. You probably side him with Hanfmann, right? I feel like picking him too. I probably would lean with him just based off what we've seen the past couple days. He looked really good in qualifying, solid in the first round, and then taking out Sebastian Baez in 3 happy days. Very slight dog in that one. Although I will admit, Sebastian Baez has been out of form since April. Quite far from the Sebastian Baez that we're used to seeing, but even still, the win does stand on the day. Good stuff from the German. He's coming into this one as a very slight favourite, and I do mean a slight one, 1.75 to be exact. I think Rinderknech he's just done what's needed to be done to get past his first 2 games. Facundo Bagnis in 3, Norbert Gombos in 3. He's just back to serving aces again, apparently, standing behind that serve, which makes sense. It's what works best for him. But let's face it, the calibre of opponents, Facundo Bagnis is barely in the top 1,000. Gombos, the two of them nowhere near the top 100. So maybe he should just be winning these games anyway. Maybe a little bit closer. Doesn't really matter on the day. A win is all that really does matter. I do think Hanfmann has been playing a little bit better. He's looked a little bit better on the eye the past couple of days, if I'm being honest. These have played each other a few times before, 3 times to be exact. 2-1 is the head-to-head to Rinderknech. Funnily enough, last time they played was over in this very tournament in Kitzbuhel, and that went the way of Rinderknech. Straight set, tiebreaker in the first, 6-3 in the second. Will we see more of the same today? Possibly. It's very possible. I think these odds are very close for a reason. It could go either way. Could easily go either way. While it's very close, either one for a set seems to be very reasonable as far as a parlay piece goes. I'd probably lean with Hanfmann again. Like I say, he looks like he's playing maybe not a lot, but just a little bit better than Rinderknech. The results have been a little bit more convincing than what I've seen from the Frenchman. It's tough because, we know the two of them play good. History tells us that the two of them really, really thrive in this tournament. Maybe more so Hanfmann, maybe just a little bit. Rinderknech is ranked pretty much more than twice as high as Hanfmann in the rankings, so we'll see. He seems to have been dealing with these lower ranked opponents anyway, should I say. It's been anything but easy, but he has been getting the win like you would expect him to. He may have a tougher time against Hanfmann if you're struggling that much against Facundo Bagnis and Norbert Gombos. I think Hanfmann would have beat both of them. Maybe easier, maybe would have struggled just as much. It's neither here nor there. I'd be going with Hanfmann. Not going to overthink it. And then we've got Cazaux and Struff. I'd want to go with Struff. I would want to side with Struff in this one. He seems to be quite just too much, to be quite frank. What have you got to do? If that first serve's working, which it has been all week, what do you do against that? What do you do against the power? What do you do against the pace of Jan-Lennard Struff? I'm not so sure. He's looked fantastic. Looked great for qualifying. Brilliant against Daphne. Equally as good, if not better, against Pedro Martinez. He is yet to drop a set over here in Austria. Now, considering Struff's been struggling to find some form, struggling to go on some runs all year, this looks about as good as what we've seen from him all season. Look, Sebastian Offner, I expected a little bit more from him on the day. He did disappoint me just a little bit. And then Pedro Martinez, like we said, he barely made it out of his last match, so maybe there's still some injury concerns around the Spaniard, maybe not. It doesn't really matter. Both of them have fell victim to Struff in the past 2 days. But unlike his previous two opponents, Cazaux has actually been playing really good. He's actually been playing good. Even last week, close games, he seems to just be operating at a very steady level, doing enough to just stay consistent and grind these matches out. First round against Ignacio Busa, took 3 sets, got it done. And then that's the moments of silence for Commissania today. He didn't look too great, did he? He didn't do half as much of what I thought he was capable of, but we did say, didn't we? We was more than aware of the dangers coming into that one against Cazaux. He's been playing good. Fairly efficient game on the clay, but will it be enough to take on Struff? Very reliant on that first serve. If that's firing, I think it's game over for Cazaux, as it has been for pretty much everyone that stood in the way of the German the past few days. But it's tough, man. It's tough. I said that against Commissania and Cazaux done him in straight sets. I do think there is quite the contrast in styles in this one. You will have a much tougher time playing on these quicker clay courts, especially against Struff in the current form that he's in. I would have to go with him 1.6. It's very tempting for me. I took him yesterday. I've still got him on that plus money double with Demir Juma. So fingers crossed that one comes in. I'm still waiting for that to start at the moment. But I'll be going with Struff. There's no reason to suggest that he's going to slow down in this one. And from what I've seen, I've seen enough, basically. I've seen enough for me to trust them in this one against Cazaux. Although I am expecting Cazaux to bring it like he has done the past couple of weeks. And then next up, we've got Alexander Bublik and Alexander Shevchenko. Fucking Martin Fucsovics today, man. Disappointing would be an understatement. Fair play to Shevchenko. That's twice now he's beat him on the clay this year. So you can't really say nothing about that, can you? It is what it is. But now he plays Bublik again, who beat him on the clay this year. Not only that, it was last week. And he whipped the shit out of him too. 6-2, 6-3. Can anyone remember the odds that we got on that? Was it around 1.5, 1.6? People were a little bit concerned going into the last one over in Gstaad. We've got him at 1.4. 1.4. Statistically, just going off the last match, Alexander Bublik's just outperformed him. Even though Shevchenko has had 2 games to play, 5 sets compared to the 2 from Bublik, statistically he just looks off the charts, as he has done pretty much the past few months. I think this really is as easy as it looks on this one. It's Bublik, innit? It's Bublik. If this just happens to be the match where he turns up and looks like absolute shite, he's been playing for so good for so long. I don't want to jinx it, but 1.4, I feel like that would be the parlay piece for the day. How much is going to change? How much is going to change in the matter of a week? Quicker courts over here in Austria, very quick ones, definitely going to suit Bublik a little bit more than what he did last time out, and he beat the shit out of him last time, so I'm expecting more of the same, to be honest with you. I feel like Shevchenko definitely ran into Fuskvix on a really bad day today. And then finishing up, we've got Seyboth, Botic van der Sandschulp. Once again, van der Sandschulp turning up, put in a blinder against Filip Mislic. He looked very strong, very strong. Can't really say too much about that one. Say Mislic didn't play. He didn't play as good as what I thought he was going to play. But to say I was disappointed probably wouldn't be fair. Van der Sandschulp turned up more than ready for that one. Very strong, hit the ball very well. How's he going to get on against Seyboth? Who is the favourite in this? Is it the Dutchman? It is indeed 1.7 for Van der Sandschulp. He took out Nicolas Jarry, and then he took out Filip Mislic. Even easier as well, funnily enough. But Seyboth looked quite good too. Just an angle. It is what it is. But then Batista Agut, he was a slight dog in that one, and it only took the 2 sets. He's been operating at a very, very solid level. Very solid level, saving well. Just playing well, playing a lot better than what we've seen out of him for quite some time. I will say that. This is tough, man. This is tough. I wouldn't say I didn't expect either one of these to be here at this point, but now that they are, who's going to take it? Is this just an overspot? Is this just an overspot? I feel like, wherever one's been lacking, the other one's been kind of, taken advantage of. If we're talking percentages and whatnot, you can go and check for yourself. I don't know, man. I think Seyboth most definitely found something coming back onto the clay. Like we said, coming off a run to the final on the Challenger Tour the other week. 1-1 in the Bundesliga, and then 2 straight set wins over in Austria. Happy days. Happy days. Same with Van der Sandschulp. I mean, considering he's been far from consistent this year, he's looked very good the past 2 games as well. 10-9 on the clay for the Dutch. 15-12 for Seyboth. There's something inside me that's saying Seyboth in this one, but I don't know. I did watch Mislic and Van der Sandschulp today. He done enough. I'd say he done enough. If he can replicate that, he's definitely good for a set while the odds are so close. I just don't fancy sleeping on the Brazilian in this one. I am more than aware of what he can do on the clay if he turns up, and he's most definitely been turning up in the first 2 matches anyway, evidently. Seyboth for the set, like I said, either one. There's money coming in all over the place on this. I can't really make ends of this one, so we'll assess the situation a bit nearer the time. Could just be an over games played. I do like Seyboth just for the 1 set while he's coming in as a dog, if I had to choose anything on that, but it really could go either way. Then over to Croatia, just the 3 in this one for us today. I am still waiting for Damir Djuma to play Stan Wawrinka. Fingers crossed, open to God that he pulls that one off. I could really do with that plus money double to pull me out of the shit today. But first off for us, we've got Pablo, Llamas, Ruiz and Ugo Carabelli. This will be very interesting. I'm looking forward to watching this one indeed. These have played each other once before, back in 2021. That went the way of the Spaniard due to a retirement. On the side of Ugo Carabelli, 7-5 and then 4-1. 2021 doesn't really mean much coming into this one, I'm afraid. What was going on with Ugo Carabelli in the first set against Pesaro? The commentary team seemed very, very concerned at the end of that one. He didn't look like he was holding up well. The sweat was pissing out of that guy. I was quite worried for him too. How he managed to come back and pull that one off, from the state that he looked like he was in anyway, was rather impressive. But he's been rather impressive since we've come back onto the clay. We've discussed this in previous videos. Llamas, Ruiz, not exactly someone that we see a lot of on the tour. If I'm being honest with you, not someone I see a lot of on the tour anyway, or pay much attention to. But you can't deny him. You can't deny him this week. He's come through qualifying. And, he dropped a set in qualifying to Kilian Jacquet, beat Pellegrino, and then he faced off as a dog against Kamil Masharak. Was he the dog in that one? I'm pretty sure he was. Let me just double check. He was. And he just fisted him. Absolutely fisted him. Next round, Terence Atman came in as quite a heavy favourite in that. And it was just repeat business. He fisted him 2-6-3, 6-3. This guy's playing good. This guy is playing really good. And even though he has beaten once before, I imagine it'll be different this time out. Times most certainly have changed since then. I mean, for instance, Llamas Ruiz 5-3-7 in the world. Ugo Carabelli currently sitting just outside the top 50, 51 to be exact. Now, that's a massive difference. Looking at that, you'd say that's a massive difference, and that is a massive, tremendous skill gap. But considering that, he's still a dog in this. He's still a dog in this. Does there remain some concerns around the fitness of Ugo Carabelli? I wonder. Because if I didn't know any better, I'd say it was at least good for just a set. For just a set, if we're talking a parlay piece. Although Llamas Ruiz has looked more than convincing. Both of these opt for the dirt over anything else. 27-14 for the Argentine, and 15-8 for the Spaniard. I don't know, I could be wrong, but these the Argentinians had a fucking nightmare yesterday, didn't they? Is Ugo Carabelli going to be the next one to fall? I hope not. I'm not too sure. We will most certainly see how he gets on. I wouldn't mind taking him for a set. He managed to get past Pizarro. Whatever was up with him in the first set couldn't have lingered, because he then played another two and managed to pull that one off. Is he going to be, is it going to be as worrying? Is it going to be as tough of a time out? This time, will he be a little bit in better shape, a bit more prepared for it? I don't know, I'd like to think so. You've got a game under your belt over in Croatia. But the Spaniard's got 4. This will be his 5th now. He is in a decent bit of form. He is on a nice little run. I'll give him that. I don't really fancy going against either one of these. Like I said, if you look at the rankings, it should probably pick itself, but statistically, I don't think it's fair to say Llamas Ruiz on the season has outperformed Carabelli, because the difference in the opponents are night and day. We see Carabelli pretty much on the tour every single time. His opponent, not so much. Over? Is this an over spot? I don't know. There's something weird. Something very, very weird about this one. Llamas Ruiz opened up as a dog in this, and he's currently sitting as a slight favourite. So you let me know. On that. We'll assess the situation tomorrow. And then for this one, Carlos Taberner and Jesper de Jong. Once again, for the Argentinians, spam some Fs. Put some for SF for fucking Francisco Cerundolo and Commissani, I suppose. Cerundolo, man. Did anyone watch that game? More importantly, did anyone watch that third set? That was one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen. That weren't like a game of tennis. That was like fucking Barnum and Bailey. But I suppose I have to say, fair play to Carlos Taberner. Francisco Cerundolo, who was, before today, favourite for the title. Oh my god, I've never seen anything so bad. And you know what, like, a defeat is a defeat, but that was a really bad one. You see people every now and then put in a stinker, you let them off with it, and then you see how they get on. That's one of them defeats where if you let it, that will definitely fuck with you mentally. That will definitely fuck with your head if you let it. We'll see how Cerundolo bounces back from that. It'll be very interesting to see. I'm definitely going to keep an eye on it. But now Taberner's got Jesper de Jong. And although Cerundolo kind of shit the bed a bit today and done everything within his power to give him that third set, I can't say the same for Jesper de Jong. I am not expecting that from the Dutchman. We said it, this kid's a powerhouse. He really is. He's been playing so good. Fantastic last week. Took a set off Darderi and he played really good too. We'll touch on that in a moment. And then back to winning ways. Yet to drop a set. Quite a big dog against Mariano Navone. Oh, another one bites the dust. Not a good day for him whatsoever. But Jesper de Jong's looked solid. He's looked too solid to deny. And although you'd usually say in a spot like this, he who beheads the king is usually good for the throne. Usually, you take out Cerundolo in a tournament like this, you'd go, fucking hell, this guy's going to go all the way. That was the best win of Taberner's career. First top 20 win for the Spaniard. but I think De Jong's been too solid. He's been too tough and he's been too solid. Even when he got beat, he still put in a really good hustle. I'm expecting him to turn up. I'm expecting him to turn up and take out Carlos Taberner today. We've all been waiting for De Jong to slow down. We have all been waiting for him to slow down, and here he stands again, and he's smoked yet another opponent. The kid's good. The lad's good. Clearly got fitness for days. Bags of it. 21 and 14 this year on the clay. 13-15 for Carlos Taberner. That's a good record too. That is a good record. You've got to give him that. These have played each other twice before as well, funnily enough. Carlos Taberner actually beat Jesper De Jong on the clay earlier this season. Tiebreak in the first, dropped the second set 6-4, come back 6-2 in the third. Yeah, I'm getting Shevchenko and Fuskovics vibes on this one. Same price, the exact same sort of situation as well with the previous defeat. Is that enough to put you off De Jong in this spot? I don't know. I can't help but feel like if that was De Jong today and not Cerundolo, that would have been done in straight sets probably. Suppose we'll never know. But we'll certainly find out today. We'll see how they get on with each other. I would have to go with Jesper De Jong in that one. And then currently there's no odds for this because it's only just finished. And boy oh boy was I impressed with Luciano Darderi. Had a bit of a slow start, you know, he was shouting a little bit, getting a little bit over aggressive, but he managed to dial it in, and then he came out and he just fucked up Seng right in that second set. He really did. Very impressed. And now Cerundolo's not here. He is most definitely the favourite for this title, I would imagine. I hope I get decent odds. I'm praying for a 1.3, a 1.4, because Dino Prizmic, he's looked fairly decent as well. He managed to get past Bastos fairly in the three sets. Managed to take over rather nicely in the third. Like I say, I can't say too much about it. There's nothing to go off on the screen. I just know that is who's playing each other next, but it would have to be Darderi or nothing in that one for me. And then I think T1 Droguet plays whoever wins out of Stan Wawrinka, Damir Dzumhur. So can't really predict that one when we don't know who's playing. I do apologise, I've got some night shifts that I've got to get to, so it's just the one that we're missing. Best of luck. Wish me the best of luck for Damir Dzumhur. That will most definitely redeem me for today anyway, and then we'll get back to work. Very well then folks, we shall finish off over in Washington. Just quickly before we get into these, we will be missing just the two. I have got to go into these night shifts, but we'll talk about what they'll be really fast. So it's either going to be Davidovich Fokina or Jami Munar taking on Lerner or Rublev. They're just about to start right now. And then the other one will be Carabelli or Nishioka and Kovacevic or Big Foe. So if you have any information regarding those matches nearer the time when we get some prices, feel free to share with the group. And now that's out the way, we've got Dan Evans and Corentin Moutet. I'm quite hesitant to go against Dan Evans at the moment, if I'm being honest with you. He continues to impress, but then again, should we really be that surprised? Previous winner not that long ago, either 2023 to be exact. Okay, not a defending champ, but a fairly recent champ indeed. Corentin Moutet, I mean, look, not being cruel or anything, but it's a fact. He weren't supposed to be here. He didn't make it through qualifying. 1-1 in qualifying, beat Caruso. Ended up getting beat by Wu in 3 sets. Holger Rune pulls out. He gets the lucky loser spot against his fellow countryman, Alexander Muller, and absolutely wipes the floor with him, bagels him, and then 6-1. Now, I'm not totally sure that Alexander Muller was half as prepared for that one as maybe he should have been, but it's neither here nor there. Corentin Moutet, that was one hell of a performance. You know, you just can't write it. You don't even qualify. You come in as a lucky loser, and then you put in probably the best hustle out of everyone in the entire draw. Absolute madness, but it is what it is. Fantastic stuff. Dan Evans, man, I mean, Zizou Berg's in 3. It is what it is. Alex Michelsen in straight sets. Very impressive, and I don't know about you. I think Dan Evans just been a little bit better. Obviously, we've seen a little bit more, and it probably goes without saying he's been a little bit better because Like I say, Moutet didn't even qualify. And then he essentially played against a fucking claymation figure in Alexander Muller the other day. So how much I can take from that, I'm not too sure. They have played each other twice before, both of them going the way of the Frenchman. Not since 2021, and then 2021 on the one on the clay, one on the hard court. Getting Moutet around 1.4, 1.44, that seems very steep for me, very steep indeed, considering how good Dan Evans has been playing. Statistically, I feel like he's played just as good, if not better, than Moutet in what we've seen against Michelson and Berg, so I wouldn't mind taking him as a slight dog in this one. I mean, 2.8. It's almost a 2-to-1 dog for our Dan Evans. You might be able to get 3.5 on the spread. I could not talk you off taking that, providing the price is right. But I don't know, I mean, 1.4 for Moutet, is that just off that one performance? Because like I say, for someone who didn't even qualify, that seems a little bit steep for me. A little bit steep indeed. I'll be keeping an eye on it. Wouldn't be surprised to see Evans get that one done. He does tend to thrive in these quick courts over in the States. But we'll leave that one there. And then we've got Ben Shelton. Gabe Diallo. I'm just going to leave this one alone. I can smell some fuckery in this one. I don't know what it is. I don't want to go against Ben Shelton with him being in the States. But that isn't really good enough reason for me to trust in someone. Both of them were fairly dominant. Matter of fact, they were extremely dominant in the first matches. McDonald felt the wrath of Shelton, and then Fabian Madison fell victim to Gabe Diallo. Strong barely faced a break point between the two of them, serving extremely well. You know, providing they can maintain the serves, I imagine this one would be very, very close. As the higher the level are, the higher the stakes are these games get with Ben Shelton, they do tend to get a little bit closer than you'd like, especially if you've got money on them. 1.5, it's tempting. 1.5 for Shelton at home on the hard courts in Washington is extremely tempting. They played each other just the once before, back in 2022. That did go the way of the Canadian, only just. I mean, 2022, a hell of a lot's changed. Both of these have come on leaps and bounds since then. Probably more so Ben Shelton, currently sitting at 8th in the world. Gabe Diallo, 35. This guy has made some significant improvements to his all-round game this season. I will certainly admit that. I think Diallo could keep it close. I think he could even nick a set. He could nick a set. Both of these are most definitely prone to dips. Dips in concentration. Will either one have enough to take advantage? Say, going off the way they served in the first game, if you go break down to one of these, you may struggle to get it back, especially if it's early on in that first set. I'm not too sure. Shelton loves some tiebreakers, doesn't he? I feel like against capable opponents, more often than not, we see a tiebreaker. More often than not, we do get a rather high total and very close game, so maybe look towards total games played. There's got to be a 7 in there somewhere, whether it be a 7-5 or a tiebreak. I would imagine Gabe Diallo to be able to keep it close, so maybe look at him on the spread. I don't think 2.5 would be enough. I would probably just side with the American to get it done in America. But as we've seen, sometimes that just ain't enough. You know, being at home, playing in front of your home crowds doesn't really do much for you sometimes. And then we've got Beenach and Cam Norrie. I mean, once again, I wouldn't mind going with Cam Norrie. I do think it's a bit of a big ask to take out the American in the States, especially Beenach. We know how good this guy can be. He's very solid, super consistent. He just does enough to win these games. We're all quite big Beenach fans over here. Very close as well. This is a tough game. A very tough game. Head to head is 3-1 to Cam Norrie. These haven't played since 2022. Norrie's beat him twice on the hard court, once on the grass. Beenach beat him first time out in 2020. The slightest of dogs, and I mean the slightest of dogs, is Cam Norrie coming into this one. Call it even money. Call it even money. You know, in a spot like this, it really could go either way. Probably just take the dog money with Norrie. He looked decent against Billy Harris, and then I don't know what he done against Lorenzo Musetti, but I was 1 second. Let me just, yeah, there we go. I was more than impressed with what he managed to do. Whether it just sort of unravelled for the Italian the longer that game went on, I'm not too sure. But you've got to give it to him. You've got to give it to him. He's looked more than solid this time out. Over in Washington, Bianach looked good against Ethan Quinn too. He managed to get that one done in straight sets. I think Cam Norrie's been here once. Round of 16 exits in 2021. As for Brandon Nakashima, it tends to get to this point. Round of 16, 2024. Second round the year before that. This is basically as far as it gets for the American. He'll most definitely be looking to do himself one better today, I would imagine. 1.7, like I say, 1.75 rising to 1.8. I think this may become rather neutralised. This may become split down the middle nearer the time. I think this has got an over written all over it. Written all over it. I really do. Cam Norrie loves to have himself a bit of a grindy match. He loves to always make you think he's done, and then he loves to nick a set. And it works both ways as well. You'll either take the first one, drop the second, or you'll lose the first one, come back in the second. Either way, I feel like that spells an over. If anyone's going to take this in straight sets, can you see a straight set winner in this? I can't. I'd be surprised if either one just turned up and blasted the other one. 1-2 and done. I really would. I'd probably lean with Cam Norrie to pull off the upset in the States against Bianach, but I wouldn't probably pick it with a lot of conviction. And then there's a couple more. There's no odds for them right now because they've only just finished, but I imagine the odds will be fucking horrendous for most of them anyway, so we'll just go through them. First one's going to be Taylor Fritz, Matteo Arnaldi. I'm going to be clinging to that Taylor Fritz outright for dear life. Fingers crossed, it's in a good spot. It's the only one that stands, but it may just come and redeem me in the end. I'm fully expecting him to get past Matteo Arnaldi, although Arnaldi looked good against Sonego. Like I said, I wished he was more to go off, but there's nothing in front of me other than the tournament bracket that I've got. It'd have to be Taylor Fritz at home, tournament favourite. Although, with what we've seen over in Croatia, that doesn't really mean much this week. I think he's got it. He's got himself a decent little path, at least to the finals, at least to the semis anyway. You've got to admit that. And then who's next? Medvedev and Wu. I imagine it's going to go a little something like Medvedev's around 1.2, 1.3. And I'm very, very hesitant to take it. You think Wu's going to do good. And Medvedev just comes out and absolutely blasts him. I thought it was over yesterday rather, against Riley Opelka. He managed to come back and get that one done. He needed to. He really needed to. You could say you'd have an easier time against Wu. You would have an easier time dealing with the serve of Wu, most definitely. But I feel like Wu's most definitely going to navigate that court a lot better than what Opelka does. The movement, I imagine, will be a lot better, a lot more pristine than what you got out of the American. But it would have to be Medvedev. It would have to be. I'd like to think he can just win a tournament like this. He probably should be. Maybe not while Taylor Fritz is about. He does seem to be miles above him at the moment. But a matchup like this against the qualifier, I'd probably have to go with Medvedev. But I don't know what the odds are, so I couldn't suggest anything regarding a bet. And then let's wrap this shit up, because I've got to go to work. We've got Alex de Minaur, Yuri Lehechka. No idea. You will have to let me know what the odds are when these drop, or at least when you get them anyway. That can be your job for tonight, if anyone's still watching anyway. I fucking highly doubt it. But who's going to take this one? Yuri Lehechka. I think he kind of struggled in parts against Zachary Zvada, qualifier. 3 sets is what it took. He got the win, that's all that matters. A lot more convinced with the Demon, as I pretty much thought I would be coming into today. Tie-break in the first and then 6-2 against Boo. I think Boo broke him as well. Dropped the serve to Boo rather early one. Managed to snap back, dialed himself in, locked it down, got a grip of himself, finished it in 2. That's what you need to do. I'd fancy him to be a favourite, most definitely be a favourite against Yuri Lehechka, but I don't know, maybe I'm just overthinking it. How many times have I said in the past, especially the past few times with Lechechka, we keep referring back to last season. Keep going out. I mean, sorry, last season, the start of this season, rather. How good he was, the form that he was in. But we haven't really seen that since, have we? We haven't really seen that. And I feel like I am most definitely going to have to see him take out the likes of an Alex de Minaur on the hard court to truly believe that Lechechka is going to be back to the guy that I know is there. Like we said yesterday, I think Demon might be shaping up to be a rather nice little sleeper for this tournament. I couldn't look away from him. I could not look away from him. Just going off what I've seen today anyway. I've seen enough from Alex de Minaur. I weren't that impressed with Lechechka. I was happy he got the win. 1.3. It was probably a bit closer than what you would have liked if you would have took that, I would have imagined, but we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. We're kind of going round in circles with these, aren't we? There's not many odds. Well, there's not any odds at all, so I'm afraid there's not a lot we can do with it. And the lights went off. Perfect timing anyway. So that's going to do us, folks. I do appreciate you stopping by. Only a short one tonight. I apologise for the ones that I've missed. But duty calls. Gotta go to work. Got to go to work. Don't know what happened then. The voice went. I'm sure I'm getting sick. All this tennis, eh? But anyway, let me know what you're going for. And you take it easy, yeah? I'll be saying good night to you. Have yourselves a good one. Not too sure what I'm going for, yeah? I will consult me notes in a moment when I'm uploading the video, and I'll see what I fancy. But do share with the group. Don't be shy. We all like winners. You know, it's very easy to give results after the fact, innit? No one likes that. It's quite pointless, to say the least. But if you've got any information prior to the games, it would be greatly appreciated. But you take it easy, folks. You take care of yourselves. You take care of one another. Most importantly, like and subscribe too. Like and subscribe before you go. Very close to that 2.2k. Get yourself involved. Enjoy the tennis. Best of luck today. And I'll see you all tomorrow.